In the spring of 1861, decades of simmering tension between the northern and the southern United States over issues mostly known as slavery exploded into what is now known as the American Civil War. In the end, Northern victory preserved the United States as one nation and ended slavery. But these achievements came at the cost of 750,000 lives, which is more than the American soldiers that died in World War I and World War II combined together. Now let's see how this big number came to be. 140,414 Union soldiers and 94,300 Confederate soldiers died in combat, which adds up to a total of 214,938 casualties caused by combats. 224,097 of the Union and at least 225,000 of the Confederate died of other reasons, such as disease and hunger. And this adds up to a total of about 450,000 people. The total number of casualties on the Union side adds up to 364,511, and that of the Confederate to about 299,524. All of this first started with the 16,000 armies of Northern Union, along with 100,000 men volunteering to join the militia. After hearing about their enemies, all prepared for a fight, the Southern Confederacy also organized 100,000 troops. Both sides had more men than they could support, and weren't able to give them proper arms to fight. They were able to recruit these many people due to their enthusiasm toward this war. However, this initial enthusiasm died out later on, and in April 1862, the Confederate had no choice but to pass a draft law for young men from 18 to 35. Here are the top 3 battles of the Civil War with the most casualties. Battle number 1, the Battle of Antietam, with 25,100 casualties, 12,400 from the Union and 12,700 from the Confederate. Battle of the Antietam, fought on September 17th of 1862 near Sharpsburg, Maryland, and Antietam Creek, was the first major battle to take place on Union soil. It marked the culmination of the Confederate General Robert E. Lee's first invasion of the northern state. This battle is known as the bloodiest single-day battle in American history. It ended in a draw, but the Confederate retreat gave Abraham Lincoln a victory before issuing the Emancipation Proclamation. Battle number 2, the Battle of Gettysburg. It lasted from July 1st to July 3rd of 1863, with 23,000 Union soldiers and 28,000 Confederate soldiers' death. That adds up to 51,000 casualties in total. General Robert E. Lee attacked with Pickett's Charge, which is an infantry advancement preceded by artillery fire. But this strategy failed, and Confederacy lost 2/3 of their men, marking a defeat that turned the tide of the Civil War in the Union. Battle number 3 is the Battle of Chickamauga, with 34,624 casualties in total. 16,170 are from the Union, and 18,454 are from the Confederate. So we talked about the draft laws. Both the Confederacy and the U.S. Congress passed draft laws in 1862 after the initial enthusiasm died out. Basically, each state had a certain quota of soldiers to fill that was proportional to the number of its population. As a result, more soldiers were drafted from the states with a larger population. This left the Chesapeake states of Virginia, Carolinas, and Alabama with relatively high death toll, as well as New York and Pennsylvania in the Union. The death of the Union and the Confederate soldiers can be divided into many categories. Here are the following. 161,088 soldiers died in the action. 388,580 soldiers died of disease. 61,192 soldiers died as prisoners of the war. 24,881 soldiers died due to other types of non-battle causes. 4,114 soldiers died of accidents. 4,944 soldiers drowned. 520 soldiers were murdered. 104 soldiers were killed after the capture. 391 soldiers committed suicide. 331 soldiers were executed by the higher authorities or by their enemies. 313 soldiers died of sunstroke. 14,164 soldiers died of other causes, including the causes that weren't stated. These all add up to 678,753. Virginia and North Carolina were left with over 30,000 Confederate deaths combined, Alabama with 25,000, and South Carolina with 15,000. Being a pivotal event in America's historical consciousness, the American Civil War determined what kind of a nation it is now. Being a pivotal event in America's historical consciousness, the American Civil War determined what kind of a nation it is now.